In 1969, a tobacco executive wrote 4 chilling words that would kill millions. Doubt is our product. Today, that playbook has infected everything from climate science to vaccines. Carl Sagan tried to stop it and gave us a near-perfect toolkit to fight pseudoscience and defend truth. There was just one problem. He prepared us to battle the wrong enemy. Carl Sagan saw it coming. In 1995, he looked at America's growing scientific illiteracy and predicted we'd slide back into superstition and darkness. Here's a prediction he made nearly 30 years ago. Now, bear with me, this is a bit of a long quote, but I promise it is worth every second.
I have a foreboding of an America in my children's or grandchildren's time when the United States is a service and information economy, when nearly all the manufacturing industries have slipped away to other countries, when awesome technological powers are in the hands of a very few, and no one representing the public interest can even grasp the issues, when the people have lost the ability to set their own agendas or knowledgeably question those in authority, when, clutching our crystals and nervously consulting our horoscopes, our critical faculties in decline, unable to distinguish between what feels good and what's true, we slide almost without noticing back into superstition and darkness. The dumbing down of America is most evident in the slow decay of substantive content in the enormously influential media, the 30-second sound bites now down to 10 seconds or less, lowest common denominator programming, credulous presentations on pseudoscience and superstition, but especially a kind of celebration of ignorance.
He watched pseudoscience creeping into mainstream culture and warned that we would lose our ability to distinguish between what feels good and what's actually true. 3 decades later, we're drowning in flat earthers with millions of followers, faith healers worth billions.
Are you seeing this? I hope so. You bought it.
And people literally drinking industrial bleach because some Facebook grifter promised it cures autism. Sagan tried to protect us from this. His Baloney detection kit, a set of cognitive tools for separating truth from nonsense, was supposed to be our weapon against the coming dark age. It taught us to demand evidence, to look for independent confirmation, encourage debate, and recognize logical fallacies. Brilliant stuff, revolutionary even. But Carl Sagan, for all of his genius, missed something devastating, something that would have made him despair for humanity even more than he already did. He thought the enemy was ignorance. He didn't realize that the enemy would learn to speak fluent science. See, Sagan's toolkit was built for a world where bullshit artists were just that, artists, clumsy con men pursuing crystal healing and pyramid schemes. He prepared us to battle people who didn't understand science. What he didn't prepare us for was an enemy that understood science perfectly and weaponized that understanding to burn it all down. The Baloney detection kit teaches you to value scientific uncertainty, to appreciate when scientists say, we don't know yet, or the data suggests, because here's what people don't get. Science doesn't prove things. It disproves them. We don't have laws of gravity that graduated from being theories. Newton's equations weren't promoted to some higher tier of truth. They're still theories, incredibly useful ones that let us land probes on speeding comets, but theories nonetheless. Einstein didn't prove Newton wrong. He showed where Newton's model broke down at extreme speeds and masses. That's how science works. It refines, it corrects, it holds everything, even our most successful theories, with degrees of certainty that never quite reach 100%. And that is exactly what makes science trustworthy. Real scientists will tell you straight up that we understand gravity well enough to slingshot spacecraft around Jupiter with millimeter precision, but we're still arguing about quantum gravity and what happens at the Planck scale. This honesty, this humility is a feature, not a bug. And here's where Sagan's optimism failed him. What happens when bad actors weaponize that humility against us? In 1969, a Brown Williamson executive wrote 4 words that should terrify you. Doubt is our product. Not cigarettes, doubt. They knew smoking caused cancer. Their own research proved it. But instead of admitting it and spending money on safer filters or alternative products, they instead spent decades manufacturing uncertainty.
Dr. Little, have any cancer-causing agents been identified in cigarettes?
No, none whatever.
either in cigarettes or in any product of smoking.
They funded garbage studies, harassed real scientists, and ran ads with doctors in lab coats smoking.
More doctors smoke Camels than any other cigarette. Try Camels yourself, the cigarette so many doctors enjoy.
Their message was simple. The science isn't settled. Some experts disagree. More research is needed. Sound familiar? Now, where have we heard that before? When climate scientists reached overwhelming consensus that humans were cooking the planet, fossil fuel companies didn't even try to disprove it. They had studied Big Tobacco's playbook. Instead, they amplified the 3% of contrarian voices, spawned fake think tanks with science-y sounding names, and pushed slogans like CO2 is plant food. They transformed scientific honesty, those error bars and confidence intervals, into weapons against science itself. Or look at the vaccine debate. In 1998, Andrew Wakefield published a study of 12 kids, 12, claiming that the MMR vaccine caused autism. When investigators dug deeper, they found Wakefield had been paid £435,000 by lawyers suing vaccine manufacturers. He'd cherry-picked his data, performed invasive procedures on children without ethics approval, and, drumroll please, had secretly patented his own safer measles vaccine to sell as an alternative.
You what?
The Lancet retracted the paper, and Wakefield lost his medical license, but the damage was already done. And despite over 25 studies involving more than 15 million children finding zero link between autism and the vaccine, that zombie lie lives on, propped up by a multi-billion-dollar alternative medicine industry that profits from parents' manufactured terror and weaponized doubt. And then came COVID, and the doubt merchants had their Super Bowl. I'm sure you guys all remember the mask guidance, but let me walk you through what actually happened with a detailed timeline because disinformation artists sure as hell won't. Initially, the CDC and WHO said that healthy people didn't need masks. Why? Well, because based on previous coronaviruses, they thought that COVID spread mainly after symptoms developed, through drops of saliva or by symptomatic people coughing on you. Plus, hospitals were already running out of N95s, and they were terrified that the public would hoard what little remained. Doctors working daily with symptomatic patients in short-staffed hospitals needed those N95s. But by April, the virus had spread, and new data showed that asymptomatic people were spreading it like wildfire. In other words, it became contagious before the symptoms emerged. The CDC started recommending cloth masks, and in June, the WHO followed suit. By late 2020, new data revealed that the virus didn't just spread on saliva particles from coughs and sneezes, it was airborne and lingered in the air. Then, by May 2021, mask guidance was relaxed for vaccinated people. But by July 2021, they realized that though the vaccine protected most vaccinated people from severe symptoms, the Delta variant didn't mess around, and even vaccinated people could spread it. So they began recommending N95s. This is exactly how science should work. New evidence emerges, recommendations change. But the doubt merchants had a freaking field day with this, saying things like, see, they lied about masks. If they were wrong then, what else were they wrong about? They took the self-correcting nature of science, its greatest strength, and convinced millions it was proof of a conspiracy. And just who profited from this manufactured confusion? Right-wing politicians built entire campaigns on freedom from face diapers.
As we see this stuff being orchestrated, trying to shove down people's throats, there needs to be pushback. Do not comply with this nonsense.
Grifters sold fake cures and immunity supplements while ranting about tyranny. Russian troll farms amplified both pro and anti-mask content just to watch Western democracy eat itself alive. Social media platforms made billions as their algorithms pushed the most inflammatory content to the top, and religious extremists, after watching science whoop religion's ass for decades, weaponized this doubt to cast scientists and doctors as simultaneously clueless and tyrannical enemies of God. And all of this happened while millions of people died. Preventable death after preventable death, all because we couldn't distinguish between honest scientific revision and deliberate sabotage. This is epistemic warfare, and we're getting our asses kicked. Why? Because humans are wired to hate uncertainty. When a scientist says, based on new data, we're updating our recommendations from 2 doses to include a booster shot, and some essential oil snorting TikTok influencer or a supplement hawking podcast bro screams, they keep changing their theory, guess which message spreads faster? Sagan's baloney detection kit can't save us here, because the doubt merchants aren't making falsifiable claims. They're not saying vaccines don't work. That's testable. They're saying some people have concerns and questions have been raised and do your own research. They're manufacturing controversy where nothing substantial exists, turning every normal scientific update into evidence of incompetence or conspiracy. They're not offering you useful information. They're drowning you in confusion until you're too exhausted to think straight, until you throw up your hands and decide nobody knows anything, so why bother listening to experts at all? So how do we fight back? Well, first, we have to recognize that legitimate scientific uncertainty looks nothing like manufactured doubt. Real scientists ask, how can we test this better? Or are the tests that we've already done to date already sufficient? Doubt merchants, by contrast, ask, how can we sow confusion and how can we delay action forever? Real scientific uncertainty, the healthy kind, comes from within the scientific community through peer review. Manufactured doubt comes from think tanks funded by industries with billions to lose. Sagan's baloney detection kit was brilliant, and if you guys want me to, I can do a whole series breaking down how to use each item on his list, updated for the 21st century. Just make sure that you're subscribed for that if you want to see it, and click the notification bell. But for now, here is a much needed addition. Look for weaponized doubt. Yes, demand evidence like Sagan taught, but also ask who is sowing the doubt and why. Is this person trying to improve our understanding, or are they trying to paralyze us with confusion? Do they actually want answers, or are they promoting anti-intellectualism in order to hawk a product? Are they citing the consensus of thousands of experts, or cherry-picking the 3 cranks who disagree? Follow the money. Who profits if we do nothing? Real skeptics want better answers. Fake skeptics want no answers at all. Just endless, profitable confusion. The tobacco industry stalled regulation for 40 years. Climate deniers have blocked meaningful action for half a century. Measles is making a comeback. And how many people died needlessly of COVID because we couldn't tell honest uncertainty from weaponized doubt? Carl Sagan held up science as a candle in the dark, but he didn't foresee the imposters who would pretend to carry that flame, snuffing it out while claiming to illuminate, plunging us deeper into the darkness. But by learning how to think critically, we can know how the world works. So dare to be curious, but don't drink the Kool-Aid. If you guys value videos like this and you want to see more, please consider supporting my work either with a per video pledge on patreon.com/holykoolaid or a one-time PayPal donation. You guys are what makes this show possible, and I couldn't do it without you. Thank you.